Hello, how are you guys doing? I am so sorry about starting late, about being inexact about my time. Normally, I start the stream at 2, and today we're starting it at almost 4 my time. Couple of different reasons for that, all of which are actually all of which are technical, aren't they? Siri decided not to let me know when the laundry was done, so I was waiting for the little thing to go off so that way I'd go back downstairs, get out of the community washer, all that. Nope, not happening. Then, when I actually got down to sitting down and setting up stream, none of the features that I had previously set up worked, which means that I basically had to rebuild the streaming setup I had as far as like where buttons are and all that stuff. So hopefully we don't have any of the frame drops or any issues. That's my main issue. I am gonna have to bail pretty soon, actually, so I don't even know if it's really worth it. But let's start off with the game, and I can go into more issues that I'm having when we get into it. We're gonna do City Skylines today, and that's why we started it the other day. Gonna take a drink of coffee, wake myself up. I know it sounds like I'm hyper, I just didn't want the intro to go on for like 3 minutes like it sometimes does. I have the tendency to ramble. The music's chill, so I can go kind of chill. So for those of you that don't know what ARTcade is, it's a kind of thing that I made up as a way of basically doing art and also streaming, which are basically the two things that I really want to do with myself for my life. And I want to get y'all's opinion on this. We started a game the other day. Where is it? Did we just not save? Pretty fucked city? I think that's the one we'll go with. Now, I did get a first-person mod, but it's kind of shit, to be honest. So I think what we're going to do is, instead of Shitlord Bay, we're going to go with this place. I think it's more aesthetically beautiful. But that's just a personal preference. This is using pretty much all the mods available. Hey, Hoots. Yeah, more painting should be good. It'll make me feel a little bit better. A little high-strung today. Probably from the fact that I've had a shit ton of coffee to make up for the fact that I really don't want to go back to school tomorrow. I'm going to be really happy when I can have weeks like this past one every single week. That's the idea, anyway. Also, Twitch alerts may or may not be working. I don't know. If you do donate, if you do decide to donate to me through the link, just let me know. And I'll double check on PayPal and just say the whatever thing instead. I don't know if Twitch alerts is working. It was working for 5 seconds when I was doing the testing, and I did one more test before I went live, and then it broke. So that sounds like a good idea, Hoots. I never have done pearls. Or pearlers, however you pronounce that. Those things. They're a cool idea. So, first we gotta figure out a good build new shit. How about fuck off? We're gonna find a good place, then we're gonna, set it up. Part of me wants to maybe, like, build a house that's, like, right here. Or, no, because, I don't know. See, this town's not very well developed yet, but it's really pretty. Like, this makes me happy right here. Let me pause. We're gonna float around a bit as we try and figure out... Does the snow actually pause as well? That's crazy. So I like the snow. Probably because I never actually grew up in snowy areas. We'll switch out the music with, like, SimCity music or something. This game is very pretty. It gives us a lot to work with. By pausing the game, we get actually a lot of variety. What happened, actually? Hold on. This is not the right save file. Hold on. I know we got farther than this. Revington 1. There we go. That was it. I'd imagine if I actually grew up having to deal with snow. For example, today, I would consider a fairly chilly day. It is currently about 60 degrees Fahrenheit, which I think is, I don't know how cold that is in Celsius. Someone will have to check. I like colder weather just because I hate warmer weather. And when I consider cold, I consider like, you know, 60 or 70. I've never had to put on snow tires. I don't really understand what they are. I don't understand why you would put chains on your tires. We're gonna wait until it's nighttime, because I prefer night scenes, to be honest. That's just something I do. Almost nighttime. 60 is like chilly. We're not talking cold, but just chilly, you know? Is that gonna look pretty in a few minutes? Chains on tires is bad. Don't do that. Okay. Okay. It's nighttime now. We can kind of move around. We can find a nice spot. Maybe away from the shopping district so we don't have to listen to the sound of that. The first person mod I found is really glitchy, honestly. It's the most popular one out so far. Also, it seems like we've got a really blurry view. Gotta find somewhere nice. I mean, I really like this bridge. This bridge makes me really happy. It's not even something I really built. That's pretty high up there on the possibilities. Let me check the other side. From this side of the bridge, doing that exact same angle. Do we like the bridge at an angle, or do we like it dead on? We could do, we could talk about perspective. Happy little bridge. Indeed. What do you guys think of this bridge? Does it make you happy too? You can turn it into this view. Oh. Is that truck flipping? It's kind of on its side a little bit, yeah. We might want to let it pass by so that way we don't have to look at it. I kind of like this one. An angle would be a good viewpoint. Then we get a little bit of the city in the background. And those towers. The alternative is from this side looking that way. That looks a little bit more built up over there, when in actuality it's just the industrial side. I kind of think I like it from this side looking towards the bridge. It's like dead on. The angle seems nice. It makes the image alive. I think you're right. I do want to get rid of this guy here, though, so let's run it for half a second. Let him get on his way. Let's get the hot dog truck out of the way, too. Okay, there we go. That's pretty damn perfect, I think. Yeah. I'm liking that. Okay, let's Alt-Tab to here. And hopefully the game doesn't crash when we switch to both. Oh, fuck. God damn it. This game is going to be one of those games, isn't it? Keep the hot dog truck. It's a little late. Okay, I like this right here. Oh, please don't move without me telling you to, game. Just right here. Okay. There's one thing I want to... Is there a way I can make it so that way mouse look does not work? Gameplay. Edge scrolling enabled. Turn that off. So now, it'll actually make it really hard to control the game now. But, yeah, there we go. Just take a screenshot of it. I like the idea of the game being alive and doing things. So we could even unpause the game now that I've got it so that way it's windowless. That's pretty good right there. I think this is going to be a pretty image. So you guys can see this over here, right? Double check. We're not actually using that music, so let's turn that off for now. Okay, let's do this. Alright. I do need to get my smock on. Let me go get that real quick. There it is. It's in my bag. I'm an idiot. I'm actually really smart. I'm just an idiot because I didn't realize that I was smart. So this does still allow us to have 1-point perspective. It's just, it's not the straight-on perspective that you normally see when you're teaching, which is fine. It's just the point is going off to the side. You're not late at all. I'm just putting on my smock now. This is the image we've decided on. We'll keep with this music until it gets annoying. I think they've got a fairly robust length of things. That's really what the idea is, I think. It's really just to have a real basic thing that you guys can do art with. I'm going to show you a technique with acrylic here in a minute, but this stuff is a fucking godsend, okay? It's okay. This stuff will be up on After Hours later. So you can't art right now, you can art later. And I also bought some cheap black and white paint, which I'm going to go and get real quick. I'll be right back. Go ahead and do a print screen just in case. Alright. Maybe lower the music a bit? Okay. Oh yeah, it is really fucking loud because I set it up for streaming with other people. Can't hear me over the music. It's a little loud on my end as well. How's that now? Alright, so for those of you that don't know, for those of you that don't really do, like, I don't know, traditional art, like acrylic and oil and pencil and all that shit, you probably don't know about this, but there's basically only one brand of acrylic paint, and that's not really me being biased and liking this company, though if this company wanted to sponsor me, I'd fucking dig it. But they do have a monopoly. It's sort of like saying, like, it would be great if Steam sponsored me so I could talk about them being the best video game online distribution platform. You know, it's like, well, yeah, but what else is there? Like, Ubisoft, Uplay? Like, shitty stuff. So anyway, Liquitex is pretty good. This is their cheap-ass brand. And I feel like a lot of other people, or a lot of other brands, their stuff is like really cheap versions of this stuff, of their thin body stuff, rather than actual full heavy body. And the difference between thin and heavy body is basically how much filler to how much actual paint is in there. I spoke about this a little bit before, but it's going to be relevant right now because I'm using cheap-ass paint because it's cheap, and we're just going to use a little bit of Mars Black. I don't know how their spray paint is. I don't know if they do oil, but as far as acrylic goes, there really isn't another option. Like, I have some Winsor Newton that we'll use, but they're better at, like... Yeah, it's like saying Wacom should sponsor me for saying that they're the best tablets. It's like, name another tablet brand. But yeah, if they want to, that would be great. I don't know if you guys can see my palette or not, but this stuff is really thin, and it's because it's got a lot of bullshit in it, which is fine for doing backgrounds. And it's why I bought it, is that way we can get a little bit of black, and we can kind of figure out where our one-point perspective is. Now, if you look on the actual image, it looks like all the points kind of converge. There's a white... Let me get my mouse out real quick. So you guys can see my game mouse, right? I think the point all sort of... When I go to paint, I get a little bit quieter. It's because of how my mic is set up. Me and Tilda are moving soon, hopefully. So I think perspective actually is going all the way to there, right? Which for our image is going to be like, okay, so we have like these lines right here, right? This is the bridge coming down. And we got this little bit of the... It's a little bit lower, but it's okay. It's just us sketching out. So I'm using a really watered down, a really cheap paint that I've watered down with actual water in order to get some stuff. Am I teaching you how to draw? Sorta, kinda. So when you're drawing, there is, you know, the vanishing point, which is what we're looking for right now, and I think I put too much water on. And I think it's right back where that light is. You see how every single line, like look at how the bridge slowly recedes off into that point. Or even the lines from the edges of the truck. If you're drawing an imaginary line from the edge of that truck, it's going to end up somewhere in this region, right? And then the lines for the street. I think this is right. It all seems to be converging on like that light right there. So I'm pretty sure I'm right on that, but I may be a little off. Somewhere in that region. So we're gonna just set that up so that we can definitely have this point. Okay, so if that's where all the lines are going to, it's okay. If you're just learning how to paint, you're not going to be very good at it. You'll get better. You just got to practice, and you got to know these little techniques. I'm going to show you guys a really cool technique that will make this entire thing really fucking easy here in a second. It only works for straight edges, but it's like, when I learned about it this semester, so I still don't have it down perfectly, but it blew my fucking mind. It's great. And I'm doing a lot of cityscapes right now for the gallery show. So let's see. The edge of the bridge goes this way, right? We're gonna be a little bit off, but it's okay. Generally speaking, it's like that. And then you got... Yeah, try... If you don't have paint on you, or with you, just try sketching with me. Instead of using... You don't even have to use, like, fancy pencils. Just use, like, a regular, you know, number 2 pencil that you would use for, like, writing on a test, or just, like, a mechanical pencil. Like, honestly, like, when I'm drawing, is tracing drawings helpful? I would not trace. I would say learning to look at a piece of art and figure out all this stuff, like, here's the vanishing point, you know, yeah, by tracing you're gonna get more exact, but you're not learning anything. And so when you actually have to do this in real life, where you are standing out in the field and you're looking at the field and you're trying to figure out all this shit, you're not gonna know it. So don't trace. Look at it with your mind and like trace it with your eyes. You know what I mean? Don't actually trace it. So anyway, I mean, like when I'm drawing, I usually use these. It's a Papermate Sharpwriter 2. This is like basic pencil. This is like the basic pencil that you could ever. It's just a normal ass mechanical pencil, but I love them because they're cheap. They work. They have a very consistent line weight. You know, there are better pencils to be drawing with. They're actual art pencils. They're kind of expensive at times, but you know, you always get them for birthdays and Christmas and that kind of thing, because people, they want to help you out with your art career. But they don't know how. They don't know what you need. Also, I should mention that I've got a little bit of a cut on my finger that I've covered up with a Band-Aid, so I'm sorry about that. But yeah, it's generally better to just look at a thing and copy it from there. Tom McKinley. I'm gonna have to look him up real quick. Biggest influence for me, I would say, would be Edward Hopper and Eric Drucker. Those guys have really, really influenced me a lot. And a couple other guys that yeah. Let me see. I'm about to sneeze too. Sorry about that. What was the name you said? Tom McKinley. That name sounds really familiar. McKinley. Do you mean McKinney, maybe? Was I in a fight? No, just like my skin kind of split. I think my hand was dry. This is a rugby player. That's not the right guy. Okay, well, I'll look him up later. But, that name rings a bell, but I can't think of who that would be. Alright, so we got this one, which I guess is the bottom of the... We got another one that's a little bit dark. It's going to make things difficult later. And if you have like a ruler, you can get really exact with it and like, you know, draw the line like that. But, you know, it's whatever. I feel like part of what makes my style the way it is like an understanding of what the exact is, but the strict ignorance of caring. I guess it's not really ignorance, it's just I don't give a fuck. Not giving a fuck is part of my style. You know, I want to be vaguely accurate. But the better you are, I don't know. This music's actually pretty good for this kind of thing. Then we have the other side of the street, and I guess we're not going to do the entire thing. Yeah, I guess I should put moisturizer on my hand. At least this hand, on my right hand, because if it's going to be in the shot in when I'm doing ARTcades, I really don't want my hand to be all fucked up. It's kind of distracting when, like, your hand's all messed up. Mafa, if you want to permit Drunk Warrior, that's totally fine. I know him. He hangs out in GPM's channel a lot, so he's a good guy. Sorry, it's on kill mode, and it does stop you from posting. Alright, so then we got another one that goes up, like, right about here. And we're not gonna... I guess we don't get to get this house over here, which is a little disappointing, because I kind of wanted it. There you go. So now, Drunk Warrior, you can link stuff in chat without getting banned for the next 3 minutes. How do you get over being unmotivated or feeling like your art you're doing sucks? I don't know. I just kind of gotta force myself sometimes to like sit down and do art, even if I'm not really feeling it. It actually goes over quite a bit more. So by having this vanishing point set up first, and then going from there to make sure that we get like, okay, this comes down like this, stuff like that. Notice how we already have something that kind of looks right. I think it's just the aspect ratio of this painting canvas is a little bit different. So, any advice from traditional pencil drawings to painting? A lot of it is very similar, but when you're doing pencil, you're drawing lines to represent space, whereas with painting, you're using color to represent space, and you're using mass rather than line. And that's going to be the biggest thing that you got to get over. And I'm still not over that, because for the longest time, I was a pen and ink kind of guy. And then eventually, my painting one teacher was like, well, do you know what liquid is? And I'm like, no. And that blew my mind, because for the longest time, I didn't want to do, like, oil paint, because it's just, like, it takes forever to dry, and I can't get it to do what I want it to. And then she just pointed out that, like, liquid paint really just, it thins it out and allows you to have layers. And that just, it blew my mind. And we're going to be using the acrylic version of liquid, basically, called gel media. Okay. So more or less, that's right. Like I said, we're not perfect, nor do we strive to be. This world of face first falls and public breakdowns. I don't want to say the rest of that sentence, because if I do, then people are going to get mad, but it's a fairly okay poem, a little bit pretentious, but not much of a poet. I really actually suck at poetry, but, you know, if I recognize a good poem, I'll jive with it. Yeah, I mean, like, honestly, I figure that there's a certain percentage of the art that you're gonna do that's gonna suck. Just, there's nothing you can do about that. There are gonna be days where you're sick, or you're not feeling it, and this is pretty good. Tom McKinley. Not really my style. It's a lot flatter than I would do, but I like it. But if you just imagine that, like, I don't know, 30% of everything you do will suck, then really the only cure for that is just to do enough art that 30% doesn't, you know, it doesn't get in the way. Like, you just do other stuff. Like, you don't show people the shit. You just have enough art going on that it doesn't matter. So it's like, yeah, so that's fine. You know, you do something shit. Like last time's Dark Souls painting. I don't like that painting. I think it's shit. And it'll be part of my 30% that's just shit. Or whatever percentage that I do that's just bad paintings. And that's fine. Whatever. You know? Do I usually do warm-ups before I do art? I probably should. Especially because doing art in front of a crowd does make me nervous. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like I do worse art when I'm doing, like, when someone's watching. So, like, when me and Tilda are chilling and we're watching TV or something, I won't do art unless if I have something between us. Is it necessary to use brand name art supplies when trying to make a piece look professional? There's a reason it's brand name. Is it necessary? No. But, you know, they're better quality. You know, I'm speaking very generally. You know, a little bit of it is marketing. You know. Okay, I think that's a good enough start that we can start putting down some color. No worries, Autumn Leaves. Alright, what I think I want to do first is, yeah. And a lot of people seem to agree with that sentiment, that the art is better when they're at home or whatever. I'm digging through my art bag, which is why it sounds so quiet. Sorry about that. So now we're going to be using this cobalt blue hue Winsor Newton cheapo paint. It's not bad. It's just not very great. It's a little bit more vibrant than we want. So we're going to mix it with some of the basic Liquitex stuff. We're just going to fill in the background and part of the sea. We can get more detailed with it, but I mean, you can use MS Paint to draw. I think Yoel proved that when he was doing his streams that, you know, you can use cheapo stuff. You can use MS Paint and it'll turn out fine. You just got to put a little bit of thought and time into it, and then it'll be fine. If you rush it, it's not going to look good. But I think that applies to anything, you know? We got some titanium white, just to make the Bob Ross fans feel happy. And we're going to mix the titanium white, the Mars black, and the cobalt blue hue together to make, hopefully, a blue-gray that we can make for the entire background. The book goes, yeah, you can link that, I believe. Here, try it. If it deletes your comment, yeah. Brings this Aria Glass quote to mind. Let me see what this is. You have good taste, but there's a gap. First couple of years. Yeah, it's basically like that. That's a good quote. It's a little bit wordier, but it's a lot more exact than what I was talking about. A lot of the stuff that you're doing is shit when you first start. It's fine. Just keep trying until it's not, you know? Okay. So by getting a dark gray and mixing in some blue, we get... We'll have to check it against the sky, but I think it's a little bit too gray, and I think we need to add some more blue. So, what does that look like? Not very right at all. It needs a little bit more blue. It's fine. Yeah. Let me make sure that's the right one. Taking the leap. Yeah, that's actually the exact cover I've got. There's another book that I started reading. It's a required book for my class, and I actually have not gotten very far in it. And I have a test on it on, fucking what day is that? Wednesday? Tuesday. Soon. Yeah, the cheap paint, like this stuff, is really fine for, like, background painting. Using the student grade stuff is fine. Sorry about that, Spoopy. Moobot is still on kill mode, so if you want to link something, just ask, and one of the mods in chat will make it so you can. It's just because we get spam bots and stuff like that. It's nothing against you personally. It's just something that happens. Alright, how's that look? That looks a little bit better. But yeah, that one's good. The one that I've been reading recently is called The $12 Million Shark. It has nothing to do with... I believe there's just Mafa and Hootie in chat right now, aside from myself. That's a mod, but yeah. I mean, usually the people that get mad that their link got deleted are usually not bots. Like, bots do not care. They're just gonna keep spamming it until it gets through. So, if someone, like, is an actual person and they're not posting, like, I don't know, severed dicks or something, which has happened before, it's fine. So, I made, like, a blue-gray, like a coolish gray, using the cobalt blue hue. It's probably not perfect. In fact, I kind of don't think it is, but it's good enough. And it needs a little bit of a gradient, and we can get that by getting some white. Yeah, Hootie's here. This might be a 2-streamer as well, just because I started so late that we have considerably less time. But anyway, $12 Million Shark. It's a book that I've been reading, and it's pretty good. It's basically just about the craziness of the art world itself. Not about, like, you know, theory or anything like that. It's just like, here's what's happening in contemporary art. And it's basically, if I were to summarize the book, it's rich people don't know what the fuck they're buying, and they're buying as much as they can so that way they can brag about it to their friends, hoping that eventually the $12 million shark, yeah, $12 million stuffed shark, yes, that's it. It's a weird book. The guy is very glib. He's very, you can tell that he thinks what he's talking about is kind of bullshit. It's hilarious. I don't know if I get in trouble for reading on stream. Like, is that a problem? Is that copyright? I guess I can quote something from it, right? That seems like, as long as I let you know what it is. Piss Christ is actually a really beautiful piece. Let me go find that real quick. Hold on. I'm gonna go get my book. I'm gonna read you a passage. Okay, I can't find it. I'm not sure where I've put it. Just gonna make it even harder for me to study coming up here on the test. It might be in this pile here. Is this it? No, it's not. The fuck is it? There it is. Alright, let me see if I can find this chapter real quick. This passage. Piss Christ is, I mean, it's worth looking at. Paraphrasing works. Branded auctions, even if you're moderately rich. I can't find it. I think a good example of it was something that I had to watch in class the other day, if I can remember the name of it. It was called... I don't know. I actually don't have any of my shit together. Let's just paint and not worry about these things. Okay, well, whatever. I also need to do a drawing in the skin of an artist, which is just like a master copy sort of thing. Except for instead of doing a piece they actually did, you're doing something that they are gonna... or seem like they would do, you know? Basically, like, make a forgery is one of the assignments for class. And it's that way you really have to, like, understand what the artist is doing. And the artist that I chose was Raymond Pettibon. If you're into punk music, you probably know his stuff and don't know it. He did the logo for Off. He did a bunch of art for Off. He's actually... the bass player's brother? Something like that. He's a weird dude. I thought he was going to have a lot more political stuff that would be really interesting to me. No, he just doesn't give a fuck. No worries, Autumn. Trying to make things easier for people who are doing art. It's a cool assignment, and if you ever want to, like... really learn something, like, let's say you have an artist that you really like, you know, for me, like Edward Hopper, you know, or any of these other people. There's a little bit of a gray skyline, and I'm gonna simulate that by going over it with a little bit of white, which really should be a light gray. Working wet on wet, we can get this going, and that's just from the light pollution from the city. Anyway, we'll throw in a little bit more blue just to bring that down just a bit. Anyway, it's really good to help you learn as far as art goes, to just copy something that someone else did. Don't try and sell it. That's kind of copyright. But just for the sake of, like, copy how their brush strokes work. Like, understand why they did what they did. That stuff is great. That will really help you out as an artist. Because then you'll figure out, alright, well, the things I like about this work are this, this, and this. And you really get into the idea of exactly what it is that you want out of the piece. You know? And you can kind of apply that to your own stuff. You know? Need a little bit more of this gray. And I'm going to mix a gray just on my palette by having the white right next to the blue. And we can get it going right here. And there we go. That looks okay. It's a little bit brighter than that, actually. It's crazy. You find out a lot of stuff just by doing a painting. You wouldn't really expect little things that are different. What song is this? This is just the music from the game. I don't know. There's a lot of light pollution in this shot. And we really should tape down some of this stuff. And we'd probably have an easier time of it if we did. But we're not, because I'm teaching you bad habits, I guess. Probably should do that. Just want to make sure we got the background real quick. Well, thank you. I'm glad you guys like art streams. What game is it from? It's from City Skylines. And we're going to paint a little bit past where the line is, just that way when we come back over, we don't have like a halo of white, like blank canvas. Well, thank you, Autumn. I think I talked about this on Twitter, but I didn't say it here. Someone was kind enough to donate like a $70 gift card to Dick Blick, which is actually a fairly good art website. If you don't have a good art store in town, or it's just like only like Hobby Lobby, which is honestly kind of overpriced and shitty, and I don't know. I have a lot of problems with them, like, morally. They're kind of a shitty corporation and kind of stand for a lot of the things that I don't. So I don't want to support them. Which is, it's okay, because here in Austin we got a lot of options. But Dick Blick, for those of you that don't have that kind of options, but do feel yourself having the same sort of thing, it's good. It's a good website. They have fair prices. I've never bought from them, personally. I'm going to, because I just got a gift card to it. But, you know. What about Michaels and AC Morse? I don't know much about AC Morse. I think that's a northern thing more. So Michaels is okay. Their selection's really not as good as I would like. And there's a little bit of an island out here. And we'll lighten that up here soon, because it's actually a little bit lighter than that. Well, that's what I'm saying, Trekkie. If you want good art supplies, Dick Blick is a good website to go to. I need to get, like, sponsored by some of these places that I'm pimping out. Although I guess it's good that I'm doing it now while I'm not sponsored by them, because then, when I am, and I'm talking all this, like, oh man, they're so great and all that, like, it doesn't sound like I'm selling out, because I've been saying it for a while. But they're actually a legitimately good place to go and get art supplies from. Especially if you're conscientious. Which I believe, honestly, if you're going to do art, like, one thing about art... Let me go get some coffee and I'll come back and I'll finish that thought. But I'm liking the colors going on in this piece so far. I am back with coffee. Did you miss much? You did not. I feel like if you're gonna be an artist, this is what I was talking about before I left. If you're gonna be an artist, I feel like it's such an emotional thing, or at least people perceive it to be, that whenever you do anything, a bit of your personality leaks out, you know? Or at least people think that it does, you know? Raymond Pettibon is kind of interesting because he's like, yeah, no, if I were doing art to express myself, that would be dumb. Because it's like the worst way to express yourself, which I don't agree with at all. I'm really liking this painting so far. I like the colors. Can I link that site in chat? Oh, dick as in the thing that's between my legs, and blick as in spelling dick but with a BL. B as in boy, L as in lick. Dick blick. It's good. But I feel like, anyway, if you're doing art, there's a certain expectation that, you know, your personality's in it, and that, you know, your morals should come out. There you go, Dingus, Digit Dingus. Got it. Actually, before we do that, I'm gonna give this a second to dry. Let me make sure that I get all of this down. And then we're gonna give this all a second to dry. And then we'll tape up some stuff. But I feel like this is a good start. We do need everything to dry first, though, so I can talk to you guys. I don't know why they named it. Is it alright if I DM you some art on Twitter? Yes, that is fine. If I have my Twitter set up so you can do that, you can do that. If you don't, I'm sorry? Also, Mythos is cool. We can allow him. It's kind of hard for me to get to my computer, like, keyboard. Anyway, I feel like doing art, like, people expect that you, like, think about these things. You have a certain amount of, permit Mythos. 56. There you go. There you go. Yeah, a lot of people have been to Dick Blick and just didn't even think about it. But because everyone kind of expects you to have, like, this knowledge of, like, why you're doing it, or whatever, they expect you to be of a certain higher moral standard. You know, even if you're just doing, like, drawings of dicks, like, you need to have a reason of why you're drawing dicks. And so, I think you have to have standards. So, you know, I don't like Hobby Lobby's practices, so I don't buy from them. Does that make sense? I feel like I stopped and restarted that sentence so many times that it didn't make any sense. Dry already. The paint's very wet. There's nothing really we can do to speed this up, and I probably should have done this first. Because it's fun to do art? Isn't that a good enough reason? For a lot of people, no. And when you go into art school, like, when they go, oh, well, why did you draw this? Your answer cannot be, and I swear to God, this is the thing. They'll never accept because it was fun. I had a teacher who, she went off on a guy because he, that's still wet. One thing that's nice about acrylic is it dries really quick. He was drawing, and I've told the story so many times in stream, I don't know. And he was just drawing the same circle or whatever repetitively. And she's like, why are you doing that? And he's like, oh, it feels good. So she goes and asks him again, and she's like, well, you know, that doesn't, but it's not achieving anything. Yeah? So it feels good, but it doesn't achieve anything. Yeah? So it's basically masturbation. And the next class, she had to come in and apologize to the class. What game is this a screenshot from? We've actually just paused the game. This is from City Skylines. It's pretty. He was just doodling. He was not accomplishing anything. And he should have stopped fucking around. I loved that teacher. That teacher was great. Because it's just like, no, you're not achieving anything. You're not doing anything. Like, if you're going to be doing art, why are you just sitting around? Is this dry yet? That side's dry at least, so we can start doing the thing. So, take some tape. If you're not using painter's tape, I'm just using regular masking tape. First trick is if you're applying tape to a canvas, one thing you need to do is not rip it the wrong way. And then second thing you need to do is make sure that you don't have it as sticky as normal. So we're just going to use a little bit of it, so we're going to do that number. So to make it less sticky, if you're wearing jeans, just place the tape on your jeans and rip it off repetitively until it's not quite as sticky. And then you're good. Well, it's different, though, because he was trying to finish a drawing, and he was just doing the same drawing over and over again. Not for the sake of meditation, but just to fuck around and not accomplish anything. Art school is pretty hard on you. Like, you gotta have a reason for why you're doing anything you're doing, you know? And usually it has to be a fairly lofty reason. Sounds a little pretentious, but it's true. Anyone who's gone through art school knows that I'm talking the truth. So this is dry, correct? It's a little bit wet still. Is this wet? That is very wet. Okay, I'm getting a little ahead of myself because I want to paint. I think you can be an artist and you can do things without giving like a real solid reason, but like they get up on you about stuff, you know? There's this one girl who's doing she's in my gallery show with me. And we don't get to choose who's in the gallery show with us. But her stuff sucks because she doesn't have a good reason on why she's doing what she's doing. She's making these clay pots, and she doesn't have a reason. She's making functionless pots. And the teachers ask, well, why are you making functionless pots? Is it, you know, about anything? No, I just like it. And you know what? It's boring because of it. What do they consider a good reason? Is making money a lofty goal? No. I think it's hard. So we're going to place down some tape, and then I'm going to show you something that'll blow your mind. The tape is still, or the painting is still a little bit wet. And really, you shouldn't do that, because it creates bubbles, and that allows space, and then, yeah. There doesn't need to be a message behind the art, either. But, it, like, for instance, there's a girl who I respect a lot, and she's doing art about art. Like, it's literally like, it's not about anything other than putting the paint on the canvas. And, you know, there's, God, I forget his first name. Whistler is his last name, anyway. Check him out. He does beautiful stuff. And he really set up the idea that you could just do art because you wanted to make something aesthetically pleasing. And that's fine. But that needs to be your reason. Because you like it is not a very good reason. But when you say because it's aesthetically pleasing, you are limiting yourself off to, you know, which people will enjoy your work. I guess that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I don't know. Alright. I don't know. I don't think because I can is a very good reason to do anything. That's just a personal thing, though. I'm not doing a terribly great job of explaining exactly what I'm talking about, I suppose. You don't need to have a message behind your art. There's no message behind this particular piece that we're doing right now. You know? It is because it's aesthetically pleasing to me. But it does have this extra narrative weight of that we're doing it in a video game, you know? So if I were to put this up in a gallery, I would definitely point out that this one is a bridge from City Skylines. So here's the trick that I'm about to teach you. And this will help you make straight lines. So when people, you know, you paint your house or whatever, you just put down tape and that keeps it fine, right? But have you ever noticed that there's a little bit of stubble, like the paint gets under the tape? To avoid that, when you're painting, you can use liquid, I suppose, with oil, or you can use gel. Just gel media, right? Now, what gel media is supposed to do is allows you to have a glaze where you can have another color layered on top of another color, and then it gives you a thing. Yeah, see, these are all things that help it be an interesting piece. Like, I like cats, so I drew a picture of a cat. Like, that's kind of, alright, cool story, but that kind of alienates the viewer. Like, unless if they're ultra into cats too, it's not going to help them any. Anyway, so just by putting the gel media and no paint, just gel media on, and it's transparent, but it seals it. And what's cool about this is it means that we won't have that ripple effect that you get. Now, I haven't perfected this. This is something that I've only learned about this semester. And so it may not work perfectly, but if it works perfectly, I'll look like a total badass, and I'd like that. So, we're going to try it there. We're waiting for that to dry. Make an overly long and complex explanation. So you gotta, if you're going to talk about painting in a, like, jackass way, first step is to use overinflated buzzwords. What's a good example? I invite the viewer into the work in order to experience the underlying messages of modern commercialism as it stands in a urban environment. That means fuck all, but it sounded really smart, didn't it? Anyway, we gotta wait for this to dry as well. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this stuff over here. I'm going to wait for that to dry. By doing the stuff over in this area, which I don't know if you guys can see, how about I want to draw porn? Well, I mean, that's a reason of it itself, I think. This painting is multifaceted. Yes, multifaceted is a great word. Because it's like, this, you know, this piece isn't just about one thing. It's about a lot of things. I like to draw tits, but this is a bridge. I don't know what happened. It's not a very good drawing of tits. I ended up drawing a bridge somehow. I don't know what the fuck happened. Sorry about that. There's a website that, if you Google, like, artist statement generator, it's absolutely hilarious. It makes up some bullshit story about why you do art. It means nothing. It's buzzwords and fluff. But, it's a thing you gotta learn eventually. how to do properly. Alright, so we're gonna add some gray over here. We'll just do the background layer. We may not be able to do this entire thing today, so I'm not gonna worry too much about getting this tape method working. I just wanted to show it off because I fucking love it. Paint boobs. I mean, that's not really what we're going for today. It's just kind of a gray. It's a little bit of white. I don't have any white now. I need to get a little bit of white on my palette. And I feel like the artists that use overblown explanations of their shit, it ends up not being as good of a work. I'm also very against the idea of using untitled. That's why some of the works on my page have really dumb names. If you go to my art website, colinmullen.com, plug. Some of them have really dumb names, but I feel like by not giving it a name, I mean, it's like, you're a creative person. You should be able to come up with a name, even if it's dumb. I mean, you'd be surprised how much of art has been because someone was horny. So anyway, I believe this is dried enough, and I'm going to try it anyway. So, because we put down that stuff first... Yeah, Tim. Literally, I was like, hey, honey, I can't think of a name for this work. Until it was like, call it Tim. I'm like, alright. So that way, that's why that one's called Tim. Because I needed a name for it. And that's what Tilda came up with for it. That's not quite the right color. Alright, now, watch out how clean of an edge this gets. Hopefully I did this right. Alright, well, I didn't go right up to the edge when I was painting it, so I kind of fucked this. But, you can also see it over here. So I'm gonna, why don't I do that? I'm gonna paint a little bit up to the edge on the other side where I didn't put down the gel media. We're gonna see what that looks like. It's not gonna be in the right spot for this paint, but it'll just allow us to see what it looks like. Alright. Alright, that probably does not show well on camera. Let me move the camera real quick. Let me get it camera only. Okay. So, putting the paintbrush down for a sec. Cleaning off my hands so that way I don't get paint on the thing. The difference is very slight. But I'm going to bring you around so that way you guys can see. And bring you real close. Notice where the tape was. Can you see that? That looks... It's an awful angle. Got a Dutch angle for my painting stream. Can we adjust? Bop, 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 bop. You see how there's like, especially like right here, there's like little stubbly bits where it ripped, but on this side it's just a clean line? That's because we used gel media on this side, and we used no gel media on this side. Can you kind of see that? Nice and clean because we did the little technique and did I get paint? No. Okay, good. That's what I'm talking about right there. Blew my goddamn mind when I learned about that. Let me set up the camera again. So why don't we, instead of doing any more of that for now, just paint the rest of the image. And then... Like the brown stains on your table? No, that's my palette. It's fine. I'm doing some stuff that has a little bit of brown in it. Will you find my art with the RevScarecrow tag? I forgot what the main tag was. Oh, the tag I'm looking for on Tumblr and Twitter and stuff like that is ARTcade. That looks a lot more bright on your screen up here than it does on real life. No, the brown stains are from just random stuff. Like some brown paint that I was using and mixing up. Anyway, let's paint this area. We'll worry more about getting the bridge set up properly and doing the taping and all that next time, because I don't have quite enough time to get into all that. And the amount of time it's going to take for this to dry is going to be way too long, so... And again, if you guys don't want to do city skylines when you're drawing or whatever, it's fine. Honestly, like, just do something that makes you happy, or something you need to work on as far as art goes. You know, maybe you need to draw, like, demons or wizards or some shit. I don't know. Whatever. Draw or paint or whatever you like doing. Just that way you have that available to you. And a part of me kind of want to saves. Why don't I... Hold on. Oh, I think I might fuck something up. Save game. Painting. Okay. There we go. So now if we just load painting. What if you want to draw wizard or dicks for fun? Fine, whatever. Just, you know, use this time as time that you set aside to do that. You know? We're gonna totally screw up that clean line we just got, but it's okay. Because, I don't care. Add little bits of black here and there, just that way we have the street lights and all that. And we can add little bits of white in the places where it's brighter. But if we just get the gray down for now, we can do most of the work. And if you paint in the direction that the, if you paint towards the perspective mark, you can make it a little bit better. Everything looks a little bit more natural if you paint towards the perspective line, or with the shape of the object, whichever it happens to be. You know, if something's not really going towards the perspective line, or, you know, this bridge, it's paved this way, so it should have lines that go this way. You know, getting down here is kind of a bitch though, so I'm just gonna. Make sure it's covered. There we go. Later, Autumn. Good luck. I will make sure it posts on After Hours eventually. If you're posting stuff on the board, make sure it's done. I don't want to piss off the people who, like Jen and stuff like that, who spend a lot of time making sure that the board is clean and stuff. They generally don't appreciate work in progress stuff, which is, you know, fair enough. Make sure you do the proper tagging stuff. There is a tagging tutorial. You go to Vinesauce Boru tagging tutorial or something like that. You should be able to find it fairly easily. I'm much, much, much happier with this piece than I am the Dark Souls piece. The Dark Souls piece just started off rough and didn't end well. Pixel art is very slow. No worries. Art is hard, you know, and if we can do anything to keep each other, you know, working rather than giving up, we're in a good spot, I think. And I just need an excuse to paint, you know, more. So I feel like this was a good excuse. This is a good way of getting myself to paint more, rather than just making up excuses. Oh, I could be streaming right now. You know, yeah, I could be, but I also need to paint. I feel better if I paint. I feel bad if I don't paint for a while. Mainly because when I come back to paint, I fucking suck. And then I don't want to do it because I'm bad, because I'm out of practice, and then that just ends up with me never painting, you know? So, just gonna use this as an excuse to be able to paint more. Again, we're just going to use this this time to get the background layer in. Yeah, I've done pixel art before in the past. I don't think I'll ever do it again because I don't hate myself quite that much. It's hard work. People shit on it because a lot of indie games use pixel art, particularly the long arm, tiny 2 pixel ahead style, which is a little bit overdone. But, you know, people give it shit because it's, you know, they see it all the time. They think it's easy. And when you actually sit down and try and do pixel art, you realize it's fucking hell. We'll worry about the light pollution and the lighting and all that here next time when we actually get into the layers of it. But, you know, this is good enough for now. We'll also worry about the cable ties and all that, or whatever that's called. The cabling. I mean, I'll give you the stupid answer that everyone gives that, you know, I've done art since I was a little kid. But how long have I been seriously doing art? Probably about, like, I don't know, 10 years? It's only the last couple of years that I actually feel like I made any progress. For a long time, I was just spinning my wheels. Looking for a style that fit me, fit my personality. And I'm getting there. I'm not quite there yet, but I feel like I'm on the verge of figuring it out. There's some abstract stuff that I've been doing off stream. You know, my teachers haven't seen it yet. I don't know what they would think about it. I don't know if it's any good. And, you know, I don't really need personal or, you know, people's opinions on it just yet because I'm still working on it. Still trying to figure out how to convert it into painting. Started off as like a sketch that I did in a sketchbook, and then it eventually turned into like a thing that I'm like, you know, I could paint this. Making good pixel art is hard. Props to you if you can actually do it where it doesn't look like shit. I'm working a lot faster just because I feel rushed right now, because I feel like I only have a little bit of time to work on this. It's because I do, but I'm making a lot more mistakes and I'm being a little bit more careless than I would normally be. I'm gonna finish doing the undercoat, or the underlayer, and then we'll stop for today and I can go work on the other art that I need to for the gallery show. I'll let you guys know where that is, but can I please hug you? I can't do that over the internet, but, you know, if you ever see me in person, just ask me. I'm generally pretty cool with that. I'm a very huggy person. I don't know as if I give off that aura, but I'm a huggy kind of guy. So if you want to hug me, just let me know in advance. It makes me uncomfortable when people hug me without letting me know that they want to hug me. It also can lead into some weird lawsuit shit that I don't want to deal with. So just, like, you know, let me know before you hug me, because maybe I'm not feeling it. Maybe I'm in a shitty mood. I don't want to take that out on you because you hugged me without asking. But, you know, if you ever see me in person, be like, dude, I fucking need a hug, and I'll be chill. I've hugged pretty much every streamer on this website, excluding GPM, Hootie, trying to think of who else I've hugged. Later, Hootie. Was he leaving or was he saying later to someone else? I'm not sure. Thought he was saying later to someone else, so it's like, alright, that person left, so. But it was Hootie. I haven't hugged Hootie, because I've never seen him before in real life. I haven't hugged Darren or Yol, because they've never, as far as I know, been across the pond. I've hugged Limes. She's been across the ocean over here to America. Yol, as far as I know, has never left Sweden. And that's just as far as I know. He may have. But, this is really inspiring? Well, good. That's kind of what I'm aiming for. Just to get you to get up and do art. We don't have to worry too much about the quality of it. Just do art. You're not going to get good until you know, do it. You know? Okay, we need to kind of fix a lot of these things later. Because a lot of this is wrong. Like, there's a lot more blue in this than there is gray. In fact, a lot of this is wrong, actually. But this is the underpainting, so it's okay if it's wrong. The idea of the underpainting is just to make it so that way we don't see any canvas, and it's a fairly close color. And if it shines through the paint, like if the paint's kind of thin or whatever, it's fine, you know? It's better than there not being paint on the canvas, like right here or so. And then when we come back and we actually fill some stuff in, it'll start looking good, you know? It's like we gotta get some blue down here because there's actually ocean there, but the paint is actually too wet, so we may actually be done for now. It's hard to tell. That's not done. Music's very kind of ominous, isn't it? Sounds like something bad's about to happen. Doesn't it? That's fine, Babs. This is just something to listen to and have in the background while I'm talking about random stuff. Would I say that I have a distinct artistic style? Artistic styles, and this is gonna fuck with some people, I think are a myth. And I think it's a bad idea to get stuck into a single style. I think that's something that is very much part of internet culture and part of gallery culture, but not part of actual human like culture. You know, you want to know, okay, I can tell this is a Rothko because of, you know, such and such and such and such, you know? But I don't feel like that's good for you. I feel like being diverse is good, you know? I have multiple styles. To answer your question. The gray on Rev's dead space on the screen. Yeah, unfortunately, I really don't know. It's a problematic thing because there's so much space that I just can't do anything. I don't think art has to be, well, I don't know. I think part of it is art should be enjoyable. Or else, you know, part of why are you doing it kind of comes up, but I don't know. Alright. I'm trying to see if there's any canvas that we've left untouched. Because like I said, I do need to read that book some before class on Tuesday. And, you know, it's only Sunday now. But it's going to be a busy week, and I have not studied that book enough. Okay. I do feel like this is a good starting point for a painting. I mean, for next time, we'll be able to get into, like, how to paint lights. Because, like, none of these lights in this image... Okay, there are a couple. There are a couple of lights in this image that are actually bright white. I don't know. Tilda asked me the other day, she's like, you know, I was talking about, you know, I'm kind of stressed out right now. And she's like, well, at least painting's, like, you know, relaxing, right? And I'm like, no, it's not. It's so much stress at times. But, you know, it's whatever. It's just part of, I mean, anything is stressful when you put, some of your life on the line, you know? Like, if I go, like, if I was just painting for the fun of it, then yeah, it's not stressful at all. But if my painting has to be good in order for me to eat, it becomes very stressful. You know what I mean? Like, it really depends on where you're coming at and whether or not you're doing it for just kicks or if you're doing it because whatever. Like, streaming can be stressful at times for me because, you know, if I do well on stream, that means, you know, I have a little bit more money to float around so that way I can do more streams, and if I can do more streams and I have a little bit more money in my pocket, that means I can, you know, upgrade my stuff, and if I can upgrade my stuff, that means I can do better streams, and if I can do better streams, that means that I can do it for more than just the hell of it, and if I can do it for more than just the hell of it, then I can, you know, do it as something that I enjoy as well as something that actually pays the bills, and if I can do that, then, maybe I can marry Tilda, you know? Maybe I can do all these things that I want to do, but just don't have the money for. And then it can become stressful, just like art. So, I try and have fun with it, though. It's mostly the editing can be an issue. I don't know. Even still, depends on what I'm doing. The music is drowning out my voice. It's partly because I walked away from the mic. I was kind of rambling, though, so it doesn't really matter. Not sure how much of this I can actually do. A lot of this is still wet, so there's not a lot I can do to it, but I can take some of this gray, that'd be nice. I can just, is this still wet? It kinda is, so it's a little bit annoying. Prefer it if it wasn't, but kinda works out in our favor, sorta. I don't know. I don't really want to end the stream on that note that I just brought up, but what I should say is that, like, if I were to do anything, if I had the option to do anything I wanted to do, I would be doing what I'm doing right now. I would do art, and I would stream, and I would do all of these things, you know? And I wouldn't have it any other way. Can it be stressful? Yes, often. Is that a reason not to do it? No. Because I would rather be a little bit stressed because my computer decided not to work one day, than to work some 9 to 5. That would just kill me emotionally, you know? It's just not what I need to be doing with myself. I wouldn't feel right doing that. You know, people talk about artists selling out, but I feel like selling out is doing something that you wouldn't normally do just for money. And only because of the money. And I feel like working at McDonald's, for me, would be selling. Like, selling out, you know? Maybe I'm seeing the world in a different way. And maybe it's a little bit more of an adult way to think about the whole idea of selling out and buying in, and whatever you want to call it. But I feel like, you know, I would much rather be doing art than anything else. And so if the option is doing art as a hobby, as people like to think that it should be, or, you know, doing it as a thing that I do in order to pay my bills, I'm gonna do art, you know? Call me a sellout. I don't personally consider that selling out, though. I don't think, you know, that kind of thing goes for streaming as well. Do you feel me? I feel like I would die before I would go back to a 9 to 5 job. Like, it was the most emotionally crippling, depressing thing that I've ever done in my life. Like, I just wanted days to be over. And I just wanted to go home. Even before I woke up, I'd wake up and I'd notice that, you know, today I need to go to work. Like, work. An actual job that people would respect me for work. And I'm just like, I can't fucking do this. You know? Like, I fucking can't do this. I respect people who can deal with the shitty nature of doing a 9 to 5 job and, you know, work at some place like that. You know, if that's something that makes you happy, then fine. But it's just, it feels like such a waste to me. It feels like a waste of my life to be there, you know? There was one place that was so bad that I was just like, I want to be fucking done here. I want to leave. I want to go home. I almost quit. Like, I almost chewed through my tongue just to have an excuse of how to leave, you know? Like, anything to leave that place. I ended up quitting. But it was just like, it wasn't that bad of a job. It was just soul-sucking. There was no creativity. There was nothing to it. It was just the most boring fucking job. It was working at a grocery store. I could never do that again. But in the end, I'm probably going to have to get one of those jobs. Just because, you know, I'm going to have to sell more art. I'm going to have to do better in YouTube or stream or whatever to do anything but that. Just get more work experience, yeah. It was also that the management pushed me a lot harder than they should have. How does this look? I mean, we got some good stuff going on. I'm trying to think about how we could, like, end this stream with a brighter note. I feel like things are going well for me. The last couple of weeks have been really good for me, just personally. And I feel like things are starting to go my way, which is nice. I'm going to be back into the stress zone of finals and gallery shows and all that coming tomorrow, but I don't know. It'll be better. Having some time to get away from those things really does help me out. Stream and record more videos. The next few weeks, by the way, I talked about this on Twitter. The next few weeks on YouTube, because I had all of this week to record stuff, is going to be really, really good. It's going to be really, really good stuff, because it's just like I had all this time to record. I didn't feel rushed. Like, I could just sit down and record things, and it just feels great. So I think what we're going to do is, because I do need to stop, I'm going to go and clean up my palette by just sort of scraping everything off of it. And we'll come back with more of this next time. So, like, next Sunday at 2. Central Standard Time, hopefully. We'll work out some of these lines, but we got the base layer down, and I feel like I'm just sort of, like, painting to add paint. That is definitely an argument that could be made, Boom. I don't personally agree with it, but I understand precisely what you're saying, and I've heard that argument before. But yeah, let us let's quit out of this game. We did save so we were at this angle with this time of day and all that. It looks okay. We're getting there. And I'm going to switch it over to intro, and that way I can look over the Boru. If you are done with your drawing, feel free to post it on the Boru. There is one new piece of art, a couple of different variants of it. Hey, there's some good stuff that's happening, sort of. We'll look at them. I'm going to move the camera out of the way. It's kind of bugging me. But the Boru. Please stick around. I mean, you guys stuck around for me drawing for a little while, so why don't you guys stick around for me showing off some other people's art for a, hot second. And that way, they get the respect they deserve as well. I just need to make sure it's all loaded up in a separate tab, so that way when I pull it up, it'll be fine. All right, there we go. I think this is going to be a good painting eventually. Alrighty. How long have I been streaming? My art wasn't that. My art was pretty okay today. I've done better art, but it's all right. Maffa's here. I like your selection on what you wanted to do here, Maffa. He's got a couple of different things, I think. It's okay. I know you can do good. But here's one by Maffa of the hot dog truck. A little bit of snow on it and stuff. We didn't have as much time. Hopefully I'll get here sooner next time, so that way you guys can actually have some time to sit down and do art. But this doesn't look too bad, honestly. You're getting the colors right, at least. But, no, don't apologize. We'll make it work. We got another one. This one's by Captain Hungry Spy. It's a watercolor. A little bit of a Slender Man situation going on. Kind of figured you were going to do the hot dog truck. Then we got this one by Jonas, 1999. Paint is a really hard tool to use, and you're getting there on this one. You got the truck, obviously. Needs a little bit more work before I really feel like it'll be done, but paint is so hard to do that I think you're going in the right direction. We got a couple of things done by Leantor. This one, which is a BRB screen, very shined off and polished. This is this was done prior to this stream, so they had a little bit more time. 3D effects, they probably used some sort of 3D program for this, just based on how the leaves look, at least. And then we got another one by the same person with just the text removed. Can you guys see, or did I actually have... Okay, I do have it actually full screen, which is nice. But yeah. It looks like we got some good stuff today. I think a lot of people who posted their stuff on the board were probably rushed, and that's my fault because I came to stream late. If I had started stream earlier, I feel like you guys would have had a little bit more time to finish off your drawings, and it'd be a little bit further along than it was. So I would not take it personally. If you don't feel like your art was where it needed to be, whether or not you posted or not, let me double check and make sure that I didn't get anything donated. I had it set so that way it could, you know, people could send stuff in to donate and all that, but I don't think it actually worked. Okay. Nothing new as far as donating goes. How's the cucking going? If you're cucking, are you cucking someone else? Like, if you want it to be derogatory, wouldn't it be, how's being cucked going for you? I don't know. Did I see what Van said? I did not. What did Van say? Like, on the side? I don't. Oh, I didn't read what the Van said on the side. No. Let me double check that. I don't know as if you meant that for that to be an insult or not, but was it the Danger Van? Was it? Danger Dog. Danger Van. Donger Dog, it says. Nice. But yeah, anyway, I will see you guys next time. I will stream at some point, hopefully this week. We'll see. I'm going to have more time to stream possibly this week. Like Thursday, Friday, and Monday, and all that. All that kind of stuff. You did miss RevCoon, I'm sorry. Just because, I don't know, unscheduled Catholicism is happening, and this being the Bible Belt, that means that school is not happening, which means that I don't have to go to school, I don't have to go to class, that means I have more time to be here streaming. We also need to go and look for apartments, so I don't want to promise that I'll be streaming, but there's a chance I will be. Anyway, I'm going to run ahead and then turn off stream, and then I'm going to see if anyone else is live on Vinesauce.com. And if someone is, then I will host them. Anyway, thank you guys for showing up all the same. It's about half as long as it should have been. But anyway, I'll see you. Bye!